Hello friends, let us make a very simple watercolor painting where we will be focusing more about some big shapes and then making some impressions. Okay, so the shapes that we will be focusing is some big boat shapes and we will be suggesting some reflections. We are not worrying about perfections, we are worrying just about creating impressions. Let us see how it goes. I am using a 300 GSM cold pressed watercolor paper for this, and we will be making some quick shapes, some big shapes for the boards. And the idea is, as I told, just to focus on some big shapes. Overall, we are playing with shapes here. We are not worrying too much about precisions. We are just playing with the shapes. So these are some basic boat shapes. I think everyone can draw these simple boat shapes. Maybe a couple of more of them. Uh, Maybe a few more we'll make. Okay, just to engage the overall uh, width of the paper, and then I'm connecting that shape to the sky by some vertical elements, some mast or some poles or whatever you call it, and then we will be adding some reflections. That is the overall idea. Very simple, very simple idea, right? This looks good to me. I mean, not worrying too much about uh, the details. If at all we need some details, we will be adding it going forward. Before I forget, let me apologize for not posting videos for a while. I wasn't keeping well, so I wasn't really drawing or painting much in the recent past. So I'm trying to recover and try to bring out the habit of drawing and painting again. So I will try to create more and more videos as possible. I may not be able to make it up as 3 videos per week or 2 videos per week, but I will try to do the best I can. Okay. So I have made the paper wet so that we get some soft background. See, the color that I have taken is little bit of a muddy brownish orange kind of a color because I wanted to make it sort of sort of an evening kind of a scene. So lots of orange and little bit of burnt umber and little bit of blue. So uh, now I'm adding a touch of Payne's gray to that. Overall grayish, orangish kind of a tone, warm gray kind of a tone. And around the horizon area, I'm making it more and more warmer. Okay. And the top of the sky, more gray. And the bottom of the water, I will be adding little bit more grayish tones so that overall the it is a warmer evening kind of a scene. Okay, and let it all merge. Okay, it's a wet on wet brushworks. I am using a mop brush for this. Okay, and it is sort of a wet on wet approach. Everything is merging together, and now at this point I'll be sort of stopping it and letting it dry. Okay, so before we let it for drying, so I have sprinkled little bit of water so that there is some kind of texture. Now it is fully dry, and we can suggest little bit of ripples. I wouldn't say that it is fully dry. It is maybe almost dry. You can still find some softness at the edges of these ripples. So we could say that it is maybe 90% dry. Now we have some created some sort of movements in water, and again I'm sprinkling some water, some droplets of water, so that there is some kind of a texture there, right? Now it is fully dry. You can see the changes, the color has changed. You know that watercolor dries. When watercolor dries, it becomes a little lighter. uh, Now these big shapes, let us paint these big shapes, and I'm not going to make it very colorful. So it is mostly sort of darker tones, Payne's gray, and paints gray mixed with a little bit of blue, little bit of uh, cobalt green sort of a color. Okay, some slight color variation. So I'm not worried. I'm not making it too much bright, colorful subject, but there is little bit of a color variations to make it look little interesting. All these shapes are overlapping, so it is a kind of a connected shapes. Okay, so these this looks okay. See, while painting it, even though we have made the drawing first, I am trying to refine the drawing at the time of this painting phase. Okay, actually, what I'm doing here is I'm drawing with the help of a mop brush. Again, I'm using a smaller mop brush for this. Mop brush with a reasonably good point. It's a synthetic mop brush. The brand that I'm using for this painting is an Indian brand called Stationery, but you can use any brand which has soft bristles and a good point. So these are some connected shapes. Uh, See, I prefer to connect all these shapes, and right now it may not be making good sense, but I'm sure that once we add the reflections, once we add the vertical elements, etc., I think everything will start making more sense. Okay. Now, when it comes to reflections, okay, the reflections are generally a sort of a mirror reflection, how you would see the object in a mirror. So just some suggestion of some um, reflected shapes. Okay, these reflections will also be broken towards the edge of it because we know that the reflections are sort of broken towards the edge of it, and they are more solid, more continuous at the base of the reflection, where the reflection begins. That means where the reflection and the object meet, there the reflection will be more continuous, and when the reflection goes away from the object, away from the boat, it will start breaking up. Okay, that is because of the movement of water. Okay, movement of water and disturbance of water surface. Okay, now this overall it looks okay. The reflection, it is not perfect, and my objective is not to make it perfect. A little bit of a tonal control here. Okay, right. See, but I'm trying to kind of differentiate between the object and the reflection by adding little bit of darker tones at the base of the boat, and now some of these ornamentation, some of the details of the boat. Okay, don't ask me what precisely these are. These are some kind of additional things that you find on boats. Uh, okay, maybe some suggestive details. That's it. Overall it should be visually appealing. That is the objective, and I'm not going for making it very perfect. Okay, overall it should be making sense. Overall it should be convincing. See, I mean, the actual color that I find on the paper is slightly different from what you see in the video, because it is an artificial light under which I am recording the video. It is not very accurate. I mean, the color shown on the paper on the video is not very accurate. It is slightly different from what I see on the paper. Okay, so because of that, when you finally click the photo outside under natural light, it will be slightly different. Right, now some some thicker touches for the details. Okay, I'm using a sort of a liner brush and a thick consistency paint for the vertical elements. These vertical elements are mainly to connect to the sky, so that the object, the water and the sky, everything are connected together. They all combine together, and they make more sense. As a whole, it is more convincing. That is the objective. Okay, more vertical elements, and these vertical elements also will help us in creating more reflections. So more reflection means the water, the suggestion of water will be more convincing. So it is overall the reflections will be more interesting and more convincing, and that is helped by these vertical elements. Okay, now for all these vertical elements, let us make some reflections. And as you know, the reflections will keep breaking as it goes away from the object. That means as it comes down, the reflections will be sort of broken, and because of the ripples, it will be distorted. The shape, it won't be vertical anymore. It will be distorted. It will be more wobbling kind of a thing, right? And again, you don't have to make it very precise, perfect reflections. Some kind of distorted lines which is broken towards the edge, as it comes down, let us break it. That is the idea. Now you can see that things are getting more and more convincing, and overall this looks more like a series of boats and its reflections. If you're finding this informative, if you're finding this video interesting, if you're finding it useful, please do subscribe to my channel and press the bell notification. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, please do write them into the comment box below. I'll be more than happy to come back with my answers to your questions and comments, feedbacks. If you think this can help your artist friends, please do share this video to your artist friends so that they can also take benefit of this tutorial video. These are some tiny touches that I am making to suggest some figures and people. So adding figures will add story. It will create more interest. Okay, and it makes it overall little bit more lively. Now, these are very tiny figures, very small touches, so you should be doing it with care. So if you are not good with these tiny figures, you can find a lot of videos on my channel. You can go through some of the playlists that is available on my channel. There are some playlists for tiny figures and about the perspective of tiny figures. You can go through those playlists and understand better on how to paint these tiny figures. Right now, I feel pretty happy with the overall result. Okay, and some orange touches for the skin tones. Some of the exposed body parts, I'm suggesting them with thick orange paint directly picked from the tube. See, all these are watercolor tubes, watercolors, and these opaque touches are watercolors and not gouache colors. Okay, it is watercolors, but it is used in an opaque manner. Since it is done in a very controlled way, uh, I don't mind using opaque treatment, opaque touches. Okay, so overall this looks reasonably good to me. Maybe I'll add some tiny bit of corrections for these elements, some touches here and there, so that it looks a little bit more interesting. You don't do this too much, okay? So you may have a tendency to keep on working, keep on adding and adding some touches here, some touches there. So because what you might do is that you might overwork and you might spoil the work. So you should know how to stop, where to stop. So whenever you think that you are working more, please stop. Okay, overworking is much it can spoil your work, overworking. So please be careful whenever you make all these finishing touches, right? uh, I think we can sign it and declare it as done. So let me sign it, and we will we will stop it. Okay, so this is the final element, final image. So let me take out the tape. Once we take out the tape, we can see the clear white edges, which will make it little bit more interesting. I really enjoy the process of taking out this tape, and at this point I find it much more interesting. The color looks little dull because it is. Uh, I was shooting it indoor and the lighting is not that great. But when I will show you the final picture when the photo was clicked under natural light, it is much more vibrant and it is much more interesting. Okay, so let us add a couple of birds maybe to add little bit more interest around the uh, around this area so that it is a little bit more dramatic. Okay, so I think that's it. I don't want to do anything more. So thank you so much for watching this video. This is the final image. The photo was clicked under natural light. You can see it much more brighter. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please do practice. Practicing is the key for watercolors. Okay, so you need to practice a lot. So please do practice, and if you have any questions, any queries, please do write them into the comment box below. And if you have any suggestions for improvements, I'll be more than happy to hear from you. So please write all your feedbacks, comments in the comment box below. I'll be coming out with another tutorial, and happy painting.